Hi, I'm Jeff Ludy, the window expert. Today I want to talk to you about some of the mistakes I see people make when it comes to replacing windows. Let's start with the one mistake I see the most common is not measuring correctly. Now you might say, Jeff, I'm going to hire a professional, maybe even hired a window company. And by the way, I've got a great list of window companies all over the country who don't make these mistakes. You can check it out at jeffslist.com. But if you say, hey, you know what, I hired this window company, the guy came out and he made a mistake measuring the windows. Like, how's that happen? Well, I made a video about how to properly measure a window. I think you ought to check it out. It's not as simple as width plus height. It's width plus height plus depth. And then you want to find the narrowest spot, because if you have brick, right, the brick's not going to be perfectly straight. But here's a mistake I see people make a lot, and they just don't know that their installer made this mistake. The installer is going to look at the window and say, you know what? I know I could make this 35 and 7/8, so it'd be nice and snug, but you know what? I'm just gonna make it 35. The homeowner's not gonna know the difference. I'll put some foam in there, I'll put some caulking in there. And you know why they do that? Because it saves them time. It's much easier to put in a window that's 35 inches in size instead of one that's 35 and 7/8 when you have to really wiggle it and get it in there. But after all, you paid for more glass, not more caulking or more foam or more trim pieces. So one of the mistakes I see all the time is that they just don't get the measurement of the window right. Another mistake I see people make all the time is they buy a window or they choose a window based on price alone. Price does matter, but price should be number 3, 4, number 5 on your list. Number 1 on your list should be the installation. Number 2 on your list should be the quality of the window. Number 3 on the list should be the quality of the service that you're going to get after the sale. What if this window has a problem down the road? Are they going to be here? Then maybe number 4. But to put price number 1, to always buy based on price, then if that's the case, if that's really what you're doing, then my advice to you is keep the windows you have. They're already there, they're free. Why even mess with it? Just keep the windows you have. Mistake number 3, people pick a window that's not suitable for their climate. Not all windows are made for all climates, and that goes back to choosing the cheapest window. Sometimes the cheaper window, the price alone on the window, if that's your decision factor, you're sacrificing the energy savings, the energy efficiency components that a better window would provide for you. Now you might look at the scientific data, you might grab the NFRC label, you read the label and you go, oh, this one has the same solar heat gain as that one. They must be the same. But they may not be, because this is tested in a laboratory under unreal circumstances. How's a window going to perform in a year after it's been sitting in the sun? How about 5 years? How about 15 years? Getting the right window for your climate is important. Plus, knowing which glass package to get. Not just what quality, but which glass package works best for your climate. I made a video all about glass and how to select the right one for your climate. I know I sound like I'm promoting my videos, but I can't include everything in this one video. But if you're digging and you want to learn more, go check out this video on how to choose the right window, the right glass for your climate. Very important. The fourth thing I see is people that think they can do their own windows. And you know, yes, you could do your own windows. You could lay your own carpet. You could do your own root canal. I see some people walking around, it looks like they cut their own hair. I mean, you can, but should you? Maybe not. I've seen people do that. They have problems. They call us a few years later, a few months later, and say, hey, I attempted this. We need a window rescue. Can you please come help me and pull that window out and reinstall it and do it right? And so please don't make that mistake. If you are going to be a handyman, a kind of do-it-yourselfer, I made a great video about some of the tips and tricks to avoid when you're trying to do it right. Check that video out. I think it's going to be really helpful for you. Number 5 mistake I see sometimes when replacing windows is forgetting to consult with the HOA or forgetting to pull a permit. If you live in certain parts of the country, sometimes permits are required, and the permits are there not so much to protect you, right? Because usually they don't do an inspection, but it's more to protect them, to make sure that everyone in that neighborhood is consistently following with guidelines that are established to be what they consider energy efficient guidelines. If you put in a window and it's not the right window for your climate, it's probably not going to pass those codes. And if it's not going to pass the codes, you may have to replace it. I've seen people have to replace brand new windows because it would not pass code. The other mistake I see in that also is people decide, I want a black window, or I don't want any grids on my window anymore. I'm going to change that. They change it, they put it in, they get a letter from the HOA. It turns into a months-long or even years-long battle with the HOA because everyone's dug in their heels and no one's going to lose. And that could be a mistake, very costly mistake. And I want to make sure you avoid that. Consult with your local HOA, consult with your local city, your municipality to make sure you're in compliance when it comes to that. Now you say, Jeff, why did you start this YouTube channel? I started because I saw our industry needed someone like me to teach homeowners how to make sure you're going to get a good project done right the first time. There are a lot of snake handlers out there in the window industry. You want to avoid them. The more information you have, the more powerful you are. The more power you have, the better decisions you'll make. The better decisions you make, the happier you will be with your new window project. Now, if I can help you, if you live in Houston or you live in Dallas, Fort Worth, I can help you. If you don't, I have a list of great window companies all over the country. Check it out. It's jeffslist.com. Thanks for watching this video. Please like, please subscribe. I'll talk to you again real soon.